of the Hebrew, and then on the opposite page, on the right-hand page, might be some alternative readings for those prayers. I invite you throughout the service, feel free, read along. We don't read everything on every page. So you might find something else as we're going through the service that is inspiring or that is thoughtful. Feel free, read along in those readings, and we will always tell you which page we're on. Speaking of, the page numbers, you're going to notice there's two sets of page numbers at the bottom of the page. There's the blue and the black. We're going to be reading or calling out the page numbers in the blue, and that is, if I may, thank you, Ava, that is because the versions that we have down in the congregation there, those are for Shabbat only, and there's actually other services for the weekdays or for festivals. So this is only part of the prayer book, but Ava is leading our service from the full Mishkan Tefillah, which has all of the different services and has all of the pages. So when she calls out the page numbers, please look for the blue page numbers. That's the ones that we're going to be following along with in our books. But also what's interesting is with Ava's prayer book, too, she does not have any transliteration. She has just the Hebrew in there along with English translations, but no transliteration of the Hebrew, because she's been studying Hebrew for a very, very long time. And so she's got this down. It's all set. And later on, when we read from Torah, we're going to invite you to come up to be able to see a Torah scroll up close and to see how it's handwritten and so forth for those who are interested. That'll be later on in our service. So we're going to pray with the words that are on the page, and feel free to read along at any point. And we're also going to pray with our bodies. We're going to let you know when we're going to stand. You'll notice sometimes that we're going to be bowing, and that's bowing in humble reverence before God. So there's a lot of choreography that kind of happens with it as well. And then also we pray with what we wear. We have the kippah, which is the yarmulke, you might know it as, which is a reminder of God's presence all around us. And then we have the talit, we have the prayer shawl. And we are commanded to wear fringes on the corners of our garments, and those fringes are called tzitzit. And they are reminders to us of the 613 commandments that God has given to us. And those 613 commandments, well, we cannot do all of them today, especially because the temple in Jerusalem no longer exists. We don't worship the way that we did over 2,000 years ago. We worship in a different way. We can't observe them all, but we can learn from them. And we can ask, how do these 613 mitzvot, 613 commandments, what do they mean to us in our lives today? How do we grow spiritually and religiously through them? And so when a young man becomes a bar mitzvah, he receives his first talit. And so too, when a young woman becomes a bat mitzvah, she receives her first talit. So Ava, if you will come on down with me, I'm going to grab my microphone right here. And I'm going to invite forward Florence Levy and Alan Gurwitz, if they will please come forward. And you want to just come right over here? Here, why don't you come right over here, Ava? Come right close to her. There you go. Do you have her talit? Oh, he's wearing it. He's testing it out. I have to say, I thought, yeah, I like it. Real men wear pink. It's good. I thought it was gorgeous on you. Hang on, here we go. I'm going to have you, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you first to go ahead and share a few words. Why don't you come stand this way?
Sure.
I will, yeah. And I'm going to let you stand right here. Florence, do you want to come over here as well? Yeah, come right over here. Come stand next to Alan. Okay, you got it? With Ava. Perfect. There you go.
Oh, my. First of all, congratulations, Ava, on reaching this point.
Go ahead and use the microphone, though, please. There you go.
Congratulations, Ava, on reaching this point. Are you nervous? I sure am. Okay. On one of your birthdays, I wrote a birthday card for you that I gave your parents. It was the birthday 13 years ago. Your real birthday. On that card, I wanted to welcome you into the world. And I remember writing that you had a tough legacy to follow. from an extremely accomplished line of women. Your mom put herself through law school, worked as a company lawyer, as a prosecutor. You have an aunt that's a corporate vice president and executive officer. Another aunt that's an FBI agent. Your great-grandmother ran a business with your great-grandfather nearly into her, well into her 8th decade. Your grandmother Roz, besides being a top real estate agent, purveyor of common sense, someone who never acknowledged the words, "I can't," raised the 2 aunts I mentioned, as well as your dad. Raising the aunts was the easy part. Well, you're succeeding in that legacy well beyond our wildest dreams. And while everyone here is proud and happy to celebrate your bat mitzvah, I'm sure everyone in the family is thinking how proud your grandma Roz would have been to see this. Well, I think she's here in a rather unique way. When I see you, hear you laugh, know your zest for life, and especially the way you care for your brother, parents, everyone around you, I can sense her presence. I think she's here as a part of you. Love you, sweetheart. Okay.
Here we go. So, okay, so Ava. Well, that's okay. We've got you.
Why can't I sit down?
Oh, you can sit down. Absolutely. You want to sit right there? Perfect. Careful. Okay, beautiful. All right, Ava.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvah tov, v'tzivanu lihitatef bat tzitzit.
Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, eternal soul of the universe, who makes us holy through the commandments and commands us in wearing the tzitzit on the corners of our garments. Mazel tov. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you, Ava. You want to stay there, or you want to go back to your row? Okay. You got it. Absolutely. There you are, wherever you're comfortable. My pleasure. Thank you. Mazel tov to you. Mwah. You're welcome. We give thanks for our blessings as we turn to page 186, Modeh Moda Ani.
Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechazatam ki nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha. Zatam nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha.
It is my honor to call forward Lizette Harris to share with us a beautiful reading of blessing.
The friend in your mirror. Speak gently to yourself. Speak freely in praise of all you are. Speak clearly with pride in all you have been. Speak bravely with hope for all you may become. Find in yourself the powers that only you possess, the pains that only you can overcome, the promises that only you can keep. Look deeply into the mirror of your life and discover the very special person that only you can be.
As we turn to page 224, Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבם.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון וחיי כל בית ישראל בהגלה ובזמן קריב במהרו.
Amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם לעלמיה. יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשם. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן מעלמה במהרו.
Amen. As we turn now to page 226, please rise for Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or uvarei hoshe, osei shalom uvarei et hakol. Hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha, berachamim, uvtuvo, mechadesh b'hol yom talmid, ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam, b'chokhma asita, mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shava ma'aseh yadecha. Ve'al me'orei or she'asita yefarua selah.
Or Chadash al Zion Tahir, Or Chadash al Zion Tahir, Or Chadash al Zion Tahir, Or Chadash al Zion Tahir. V'nizkeh kulanu bimhera leoro. V'nizkeh kulanu bimhera leoro. Or Chadash al Zion Tahir, Or Chadash al Zion Tahir.
Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. Please join me on page 231. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us towards our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael
the Ve'ahavta on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha
hayom al
levavecha
ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue on to page 240, singing Mi Hamocha.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehdav hakodesh, Torah tehilot oseh pelet, Torah tehilot oseh pelet. Shira chadasha shibiru geulim, B'shimcha asifat hayam, yachad kulam ohudu v'himlichu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la. Sur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאה ישראל. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרם. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מקלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We join together on the bottom of page 250 as we sing Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם הותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לעולם.
We continue on page 252. Eloheinu ve'Elokei avotenu ve'imotenu, ritzei v'imnuchatenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tan halkenu v'toratecha, sabenu, mituvecha, v'samchenu b'shuatecha, v'tacher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'hanhilenu Adonai Eloheinu, be'ahava uvratzon, Shabbat kodshecha. V'yanuhu va Yisrael mikadashei shamecha. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
We continue on page 254. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael utefilatam be'ahava tekabel uti liratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha el kurov lechol korav Pene el avadecha v'chochma sifod ruchacha aleinu v'techazena einenu b'shuatecha litzion b'rachamim. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato litzion.
Amen.
Please join me on page 257. For the expanding grandeur of creation, for worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'el nehodot. As we continue now on page 258, Sim Shalom. Please join with us. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Ein V'chesed V'rachamim V'rachamim Aleinu, Ve'achol Yisrael, Ve'achol Yisrael Amecha. Barcheinu Yosreinu Kulanu Ke'echad, Ve'od Panecha, Ki Ve'od Panecha Natata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Ein V'chesed V'rachamim V'rachamim Aleinu, Ve'achol Yisrael, Ve'achol Yisrael Amecha. Torah Chaim Ve'achavat Chesed, Ve'achavat Chesed, Tzedaka Uvracha V'rachamim V'chayim V'shalom. Sim Shalom,
וטוב וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, איבה וסבר רחמים עלינו, בעכו ישראל, עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
We continue in silent meditation.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali. Ratzon, Imre Pi, Begion Libi Lefanecha. Yehiu Ratzon, Imre Pi, Begion Libi Lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali.
So we've reached now this point of Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for reading of Torah. Earlier in our service, when we opened up the Ark doors, you saw behind us there are 6 Torah scrolls in our Ark. And each of those Torah scrolls contain the exact same thing, the exact same words. It's the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Yet each scroll is unique because it's a different age, it comes from a different part of the world, written by different scribes. All of them are handwritten, which in a little bit we'll invite you to come forward to be able to see the Torah scrolls up close, or one of the Torah scrolls up close. And but each Torah scribe, excuse me, has their own, depending on who they trained under, a little bit of a different handwriting to it, which is natural because we all have different handwriting as well. But the Torah has been passed on l'dor vador, from generation to generation. And it is a gift that belongs to each and every one of us. Not only is it a gift for us to be able to hold on to, and not only is it a gift for us to read from, but it is also the gift of our history, of teaching us all of our laws, of being able to be a window for us to say, all right, something that was written over 2,000 years ago, by the way. Torah was written over 2,000 years and hasn't changed. We have to ask a very important question. What do those words, those stories, those commandments mean in our lives today? So part of the Torah service is to hear a Devar Torah, words of Torah, a lesson of Torah. Well, that honor is given to our bat mitzvah, to Ava. Ava is not only a student of Torah, but today, my friend, you are our teacher. And so after we've read some of the Torah portion for this week, later on, then you'll come forward and you'll share with us your own words of interpretation of Torah, because here's the beauty of how we study Torah. You don't just have to accept it for what's there. You have to ask questions. You have to wrestle with it. You have to say, what does this mean? And you're allowed to say, I don't agree with this. But you have to say why, which is one of the things that we had talked about. You got to be able to say, why do I not agree with something? And that's okay. That's the beauty. That's what makes Torah and keeps Torah alive for generations to generation. So first we read the text, and then we grow from it and we learn from it. So we invite you all at this time, as we begin this service for reading of Torah, to turn to page 362. And throughout our service, we'll be inviting family and friends to be joining with us for parts of the readings and brachot. But we begin on 362.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
So throughout our Torah service, as I mentioned, we will have family participating with us, but first we are going to be passing Torah L'dor vador, from generation to generation. So I'm going to invite Florence. I'm going to leave you right where you are, because I'm going to bring Torah to you. And then Alan Gurwitz, if you will come forward and stand right here in front of the bima. And actually go ahead and put your paper down. You don't need that right at the moment. There you go, because you're going to need your hands. Perfect. Right here. And then Renee and Brian. No, you're going to go ahead and stand right here. Come here, my friend. If you will come stand right here. Perfect. And Renee and Brian, if the two of you will come stand right here as well. Ava, of course, right here. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you very much. And then for... we're honored to have Ryan and Nicholas Kokonis. There we go. The two of you, if you wouldn't mind, please having a seat right there in the front, because you're going to hold for us our Torah cover. Whoops, don't take out your brother. You're going to hold for us the Torah cover and the Torah binder. And at this point, I'd like to call forward those who are going to be opening our ark doors, Natalie Shawwecker and Caitlin Harris, to please come forward. Come on up here if you'll open the ark doors, and if everyone will please rise.
Ava harachamim hetiva v'tzoncha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki v'cha levad batachnu melech Hiram v'nisa Adon olamim.
As we continue on page 364.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדלו לנו נהייתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
It is the gift of Torah that is truly precious, and especially this Torah that we pass on from generation to generation. This is our Czech scroll. This is a scroll that was rescued after World War II, after the Nazis went in and destroyed synagogues and Jewish communities throughout Eastern Europe. And it is this scroll that has survived and that we are blessed with this gift. You see, it was the dream of the Nazis to destroy the Jewish people and then to create a museum of the lost people, but we are far from lost. Our traditions, our people, we continue. And so this Torah scroll that is over 275 years old, it is in our ark as a part of our community. And it is significant because we are reminded that it will go from generation to generation. And so, Florence, you have been that foundation of bringing Torah to family. Okay. And Alan, you too. You have been a teacher of Torah, passing on to the next generation. Brian and Renee, you give this most precious gift to your daughter, to Ava. Ava, this is yours. It continues to live. It is an Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. Hold on to it tight because it belongs to you. And may it always keep you rooted in who you are, but lift you up and inspire you as you inspire us, as we walk together now in the light of Torah.
לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, העולם עומד. השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, העולם עומד. השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה
before you are seated, those of you who would like to come up and to see a Torah scroll up close and personal, please feel free, come on up. Anybody can come on up and join us. And if you don't want to, then you're welcome to be seated. So, beautiful. All right, you guys get back there. There you go, perfect. Awesome. Ava, go join your friends. There you go. Come on over here. Great. I will tell you. You got it. All right. No, the other one that we walked around with, good clarifying. I'll tell you that one. If you'll hold on to right here, please. Yep, just go ahead and hold that. If you'll hold right here. Beautiful. Come gather around. Excellent. Yeah, come right in front. Come here, you two. All right. Beautiful. So the rest of you are welcome to be seated. If you're not coming up, you're welcome to take a seat or stretch your legs. It's all good. So first of all, I'm going to come up here. Our seventh graders, when they are in seventh grade, they do they make their binder, their Torah binder, because it's a scroll. It needs to be held together. And so this is Ava's Torah binder. Yeah, I know, it's a piece of her. We love it. And it's great because it is a piece of her that we get to share. So if you'll hold on to that, that's yours to hold on to during the Torah service. So a great question was, how old is this Torah scroll? This Torah scroll is, careful, don't push too hard on that. That is on rollers. Thank you very much. Whee, catch. So this Torah scroll is about 12 years old. This is our newest of Torah scrolls. And actually, we got to write our Torah scroll. One of the last commandments says that each person should write their own Torah scroll. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my handwriting is not that good. So we had a scribe come in and work with us in writing a Torah scroll. So back in the very beginning of Genesis, that's where you can see kind of difference in handwritings, where we got to actually hold the feather, the quill, with the writing of the Torah scroll. So a Torah scroll is all natural. It is made from parchment, so this is written on parchment. This comes from animal skin, from a kosher animal. And a kosher animal, this is your time, ladies. Kosher animal must have two things. What are they? Yes. Split hooves and? Choose its cud, exactly. And a kosher animal would be, a cow would be an example of it. Thank you very, and a sheep. Perfect, and not a camel, and not a zebra. Very good, excellent. They remembered from last week, that works. So more than likely, this is probably cow skin, and it's cool because you can see on the back of the parchment different coloration based on the color of the cow and so forth. So they create the parchment. The ink is made from all natural ingredients, different berries, different tree saps, things like that, that over a year's time, it is boiled and cooled and boiled and cooled and boiled and cooled in order to make an indelible ink. An ink that is going to last a very long time. Just like on the ink that's on the Torah scroll that Ava carried around that's over 275 years old, if you take good care of it, it will do just fine. A couple years ago when we had a fire here, unfortunately the heat and also the heat took the moisture out of the air, and the intense heat then caused on a couple of our Torah scrolls where the scribe could literally sit there and flick off the letters off of the parchment because the ink does not soak into the parchment. It literally lays right on top of the parchment. So a scribe will sit down with either another Torah scroll next to him or her, or a book called a tikkun, so they follow along exactly. That it has to be exactly the same as every other Torah scroll. You cannot change any words. Even though we can interpret things differently, the words must remain exactly the same. So the scribe will sit there and copy word for word, letter for letter, what we have in other Torah scrolls. That's why they're all the same. And then the Torah scrolls, also when they write the Torah scroll, if you noticed in your prayer books, with the Hebrew letters, there were little dots and dashes, things like that. Those are the vowels. Those are the A's, E's, I's, O's, U's. And in the Torah scroll, though, there are no dots and dashes. There are no vowels in the Torah. So if I was to give you all something to read in English with no vowels, you'd do fine, because you know the language. But what happened was, over time, as the Jewish people dispersed to different countries, started speaking different languages, then they started to lose the Hebrew. So we added the vowel system. But again, the rule is you can't add anything to the Torah scroll. So we can't write the vowels and all the punctuation in the Torah scroll, as much as our B'nai Mitzvah would love that. So what happens is a bar bat mitzvah, or any of us actually, when we go to study Torah before we read it, we study it with the vowels and the punctuation so that we make sure that we do it correctly. But we also have somebody who stands with us as we read from Torah during a service to make sure, that we're not changing anything, because I can change one vowel and change the meaning of a word exactly right like that. So that's the Torah right there. Now, you guys, I want you to look at something very carefully. First of all, this is a yad. Here you go. I'll give you that back again. This is a yad. What does that look like to you? A finger, exactly, with a whole hand. Look at that. This is the one time that you're allowed to point, because I don't want to touch the Torah scroll, because there's a lot of words on there, and I want to follow along and keep track where I'm going. So I'm going to use the yad to follow along, because the oils in my finger will then break down the ink, and we don't want to do that. So that's why we use a yad, and it's made from silver. Silver is a soft metal. It's nothing that can be used in war, unless it's a werewolf. That's another thing. Anyway, so we follow along this way. Now, you guys, if you notice on the parchment, see these lines that are etched in here, this way and this way? The letters, are they sitting on the lines, or are they hanging on the lines? Yeah, they're hanging on the lines. That's a little different than how we write. We write with our letters sitting on the line, right? Well, the tradition is to actually have the letters hanging from the line. The line represents the division between heaven and earth. And that whole idea of how we're always reaching up toward heaven and toward God and being better people and so forth. And so that idea that we put the letters, we hang them from the line instead of sitting on the line. So there you go. Do you know what happens if a scribe makes a mistake? Has start all over again. Exactly. He'll try to scrape off the letter, but if he can't, he has to start all over again. But really only with that sheet. So there's panels. Yeah. Phew. Yeah. Could you imagine getting to the end of Deuteronomy and like, oh, really? No. Last letter. That would just be awful. Especially because it's during a big ceremony. Oh, yeah. So no, it's the panel that they just have to start over with that one panel. There we go. Any questions? No? Any answers? No?
We were in Israel last year and we saw the Dead Sea Scrolls look exactly like that.
They are written the exact same way. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what's very cool, is because we can look at ancient scrolls, and because you have to keep everything exactly the same, it then verifies going, yeah, this has been passed on exactly the same way. And so the Dead Sea Scrolls are a great example of that as well. So, and finally, do you guys know why the letters are nice and shiny? There's the last ingredient in it. Yeah, you know what that ingredient is? What is that ingredient? What? Go ahead.
2, 3. Honey.
Very good. Why? Because it should be, yeah, exactly, because Torah should be sweet as honey on your lips. There you go. Just don't eat my Torah. All right. With that, thank you all so very much for coming up. You may go have a seat. Thank you guys very much. Awesome. Good job, guys. That was a good luck. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so, right? Vayeshev? Yofi. Okay. So we're going to do 4 different readings of Torah, and we're going to invite different people to come up, and they're going to do the blessing for reading of Torah, because every person is obligated to read from Torah, and so by doing the blessing, you're fulfilling that obligation, and then somebody will be reading from the scroll, somebody will read the English translation, so we all know what's being read, it's a good thing, and then doing the blessing again. So I'm going to invite forward for our first reading, for the Aliyah, for the blessing, Alan Gurwitz, reading Torah, Brian Gurwitz, and reading our English translation, Sherry Shawwecker. Yamdu Eliyahu Ber, Ben Yel Va'an, and Shlomo Shmuel Ben Eliyahu Ber, V'rachama Katon, V'sara Rivka Bat Eliyahu Ber, V'rachama Katon, L'Aliyah LeTorah. So Brian, if you'll come right here in the middle, please. Sherry, if you'll come right here to the cantor's left. Alan, come right over here. And Brian, if you'll take your seat and touch on the first word, Vayeshev, and give that a kiss, showing respect to the Torah. And so, Alan, please.
Baruch et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher b'charbonu mikol ha'amim. V'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Megurei, Aviv be'eretz Canaan, Ela toldot Yaakov, Yosef ben Sheva Ezra, Shna haya roeh, et Achav batzon, v'hu na'ar, et b'nei Vilha, ve'et b'nei Zilpah, Neshe Aviv, Vayev, Yosef et Debatam, roeh el Avihem v'Yisrael, Ahav et Yosef Mikol, Banav, Kiven, Zikunim, Hulo, V'yasa, Lo, Katonet Pasim, V'yeru Achav, Ki Oto Ahav, Avihem, Mikol Achav, V'yisneu Oto, V'lo, Yachlo, Dabro, L'Shalom.
Now Jacob was settled in the land where his father had resided, the land of Canaan. This then is the line of Jacob. At 17 years of age, Joseph tended the flocks with his brothers, as a helper to the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. And Joseph brought bad reports about them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph best of all his sons, for he was the child of his old age, and he made him an ornamented tunic. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of his brothers, they hated him so that they could not even speak a friendly word to him.
Brian, if you take your seat one more time, please. Go ahead and touch your last word. We'll do the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chei yetolam natav b'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashikoah. Thank you. Yashikoah. Thank you. If we go to Ava, there you go. For our second Aliyah, the Torah, for our second reading, we invite forward for the Aliyah, for the blessing, Russell Levy, and for reading from Torah, Maggie Diamond, and reading English translation, Carrie Kokenes. Yamdu Shlomo ben Shimon v'Farha, Mutzada bat Shimon Alevi v'Farha, Matsura bat Eliyahu be'varacha makaton l'Aliyah leTorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baharbanu bikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vaya Chalom, Yosef Chalom, Vayeged Lehakav, Vayosifu, Vayosifu od seno oto. Vayomer alechem shimuna. Hachalom hazeh asher chalamti. Vehine anachnu me'almim alumim betoch hasadeh. Vehine kama alumaiti vegam nitzava. Vehine tesubena alumotechem. Vaitishtachavena la alumaiti. Ve'omeru lo echav hamaloch timloch aleinu imashol timshol banu vayosifu od seno oto al chalamotav ve'al devarav.
Very good, Maggie. Very good. Really good, Maggie. Congratulations. Seriously.
Once Joseph had a dream which he told to his brothers. As a result, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream which I dreamed. There we were binding sheaves in the field, when suddenly my sheaf stood up and remained upright. Then your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf." His brothers answered, "Do you intend to rule over us? Do you mean to lord it over us?" And they hated him even more because of all his talk about his dreams.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam beta betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Go grab Ava. There you go. For our third reading of Torah, we invite forward for the blessing Edward Levy, reading from Torah as their agent Ava Gurwitz, who I'm not going to call you by your Hebrew name, darling, and then reading our English translation, Julie Levy. Yamdu Ezra ben Shimon v'Farah v'Aliyah Rivka bat Avraham v'Sarah l'Aliyah l'Torah. Take your seat, Ava, and mark the first word for us.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vaya halom od, halom aher, vayisaper oto le'echav, vayomer, hine halamti halom od, v'hine hashemesh v'hayareya, ve'ahad asar kochavim nishtachavim li, vayisaper El Aviv, ve'el Echav, vayigar bo Aviv, vayomer lo, ma hachalom hazeh asher chalamta, havo navo, ani ve'imecha ve'achecha, ve'hishtachavot le'echa arza, vaikanu vo Echav ve'aviv shamar et hadavar.
Yeah, sure.
he dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, "Look, I had another dream, and this time the sun, moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." And when he told this to his father and his brothers, his father berated him. "What?" he said to him. "In this dream you have dreamed, are we to come, I and your mother and your brothers, and bow down low to you, down to the ground?" So his brothers became furious with him, and his father kept the matter in mind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you. You gotta go. Got definitely go to your seat because now we need a good one. Renee and Brian, if the two of you will come on up here and join us. Okay. Because we get to our maftir, which is the final reading of this week's Torah portion, and that is reserved for our bat mitzvah. Cantor?
Ta'amod habachur habat mitzvah Sarah Rachel bat Shlomo Shmuel l'aliyah haTorah.
Take your seat. On to your first word.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, or Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayehi bayom hashlishi yom huledet et paro vayas mishteh lechol avadav vayisa et rosh sar hamashkim ve'et rosh sar ha'ofim betoch avadav vayashev et sar hamashkim al mashkehu vayitain hakos al kaf paro ve'et sar ha'ofim tala ka'asher pata lachem Yosef velo zachar sar hamashkim et Yosef vayishkachehu.
Yasher koach. There we go. Okay, your English. English right there.
On the third day, his birthday, Pharaoh made a banquet for all his officials, and he singled out his chief cupbearer and his chief baker from among his officials. He restored the chief cupbearer to his cupbearing, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But the chief baker he impaled, just as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet the chief cupbearer did not think of Joseph. He forgot him. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'haye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Mazel tov. Look at mom and dad right there. Give them a hug. Perfect. Perfect. You may return over toward your seats right now. Thank you. Here, both of you take that. I will take that for you. As we take moments now for Mishaberach, during our Torah service, we offer prayers of healing for those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. And so we turn to page 371 in our prayer books. And I invite you to think about all of those who are in need of healing, of our family and our friends. We also offer prayers of healing for all of those who were injured, not only physically, but also emotionally in San Bernardino and throughout all acts of violence throughout our world. We take them into our hearts as well and offer these prayers of Mishaberach for each of them. Mishaberach Avotenu Vimotenu Avraham Yitzchak V'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all of those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. At this time, I'd like to invite forward Ryan and Nicholas. Will you please bring out the Torah cover and the Torah binder, and also our Torah holder, Rebecca Levy. If you will come forward, there you are. Rebecca, you're going to have a seat right there in the middle seat. And we invite everyone to please rise as we give honor to the Torah.
וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה לה יאללה לה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה יאללה לה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה יאללה לה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה יאללה לה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Thank you, gentlemen. You may return to your seats. Please be seated.
The Haftarah for Parashat Vayeshev is Amos chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar binvim tovim b'ratzav v'divrehem hanaemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'torah Moshe Avdo, Yisrael Amo, Uvinviei Ha'emet V'tzedek. Shim'u et hadavar hazeh, asher diber Adonai alechem Bnei Yisrael, al kol hamishpacha asher ha'aleiti me'eretz Mitzrayim lemor. Rak etchem yadati michol mishpechot ha'adama al kain Evkod alechem et kol avonotehem hayelechu shenayim yachdav bilti imno adu hayishag aryeh bayar v'teref ein lo tipol tzipor al pa haaretz umokesh ein la haya alepach min ha-adama v'lahod lo yilkod im tihyeh shofar be'ir ve'am lo yihiradu im tihyeh ra'ah be'ir v'adonai lo asa ki lo ya'aseh Adonai Elohim diber ki in gala sodo el avadav haneviim Aryeh sha'ag milo yira Adonai Elohim diber mi lo yinaver. Hear this word, O people of Israel, that Adonai has spoken concerning you, concerning the whole family that I brought up from the land of Egypt. You alone have I singled out of all the families of the earth. That is why I will call you to account for all your iniquities. Can two walk together without having met? Does a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Does a great beast let out a cry from its den without having made a capture? Does a bird drop on the ground in a trap with no snare there? Does a trap spring up from the ground unless it has caught something? When a ram's horn is sounded in a town, do the people not take alarm? Can misfortune come to a town if Adonai has not caused it? Indeed, my God does nothing without having revealed God's purpose to God's servants, the prophets. A lion has roared, but who can fear? My God has spoken, but who can prophesy? Baruch, Baruch, atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, tzur kol halamim, tzaddik bechol hadarot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayeh, shekol devarav, emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, lechovod u'tifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim la, umbarkim otah, yitbarashim ha, v'fi kol hai, tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Yasher koach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful, and thank you for just exactly how you chanted that. And that's what we do with our text, of the chanting it, and brings more meaning and depth to it. So thank you, Ava. So we're going to turn now in our prayer books. That's okay, you can leave it closed right there, but you're going to come and help us with Rebecca. We're going to turn to page 374 as we're going to return the Torah to the ark.
Hodohu al haaretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu. Et chayim hi lama chazikima v'tomchei ha'meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netzivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva yameinu, Chadish yameinu kikedem.
Please be seated. There you go. That's good, you got that. All right, my friend. Gesundheit. Bless you.
I challenge you all to think for a minute. What would the world be without responsibility? Some may say the world might be a much less stressful place. But think about the downfall of no responsibility. Something so simple to us all, taking responsibility, can teach so much more than its connotated meaning. Responsibility is something that we learn at a young age. We learn to always take responsibility for our actions and words, no matter what. We think that the question of who is responsible when something goes wrong is an easy question to answer. However, that is not always the case. This week's Torah portion, Parashat Vayeshev, the story of Joseph, challenges us to look closer at the concept of responsibility and illustrates how it is not always easy to determine responsibility. It makes us wonder about the value of the question we usually ask when responsibility is at issue: who is to blame? Should we single out an individual to blame, or realize that we are all connected and share our own responsibility in life? Does taking individual responsibility actually bring us closer together with others? In the portion, Joseph is his father Jacob's favorite out of all his 11 brothers. The brothers are very jealous of the attention that Joseph gets. They feel that Joseph is singled out by Jacob's attention and that disconnects them from their brother. Joseph shares his dreams with his brothers that they feel symbolize Joseph is the best and that he will rule over them someday. The brothers again feel separated from their brother. This leads them to plot to kill Joseph out of jealousy, but the oldest brother, Reuben, hoping to later save Joseph, suggests that the brothers cast him into a pit, not touching them themselves. The brothers change their mind when they see a band of Ishmaelite traders go by and decide to make some money instead by selling their brother as a slave to the Ishmaelites. This Torah portion challenges me to question who is responsible for the terrible relationship between the brothers. Who is responsible for the brothers wanting to kill their own brother? How could Jacob allow this to happen? These questions all lead me to casting blame on others. I have learned that it is good and right to take responsibility. I still think that is the case, but reading this Torah portion makes me question another part of the responsibility analysis. With responsibility often comes blame. I do not think blame is necessarily a helpful concept, and perhaps we should question ourselves when we easily resort to blame. Many commentators have questioned who is responsible or to blame for the bad relationship amongst the brothers. Some say that Jacob is to blame for playing favoritism between the children, and that favoritism is partiality, which is injustice. Some blame Joseph for being too self-centered and oblivious to how his dreams would make his brothers feel inferior. When I read this portion, at first I debated who was at blame for this situation. But as I read further along, I quickly realized that one of the many lessons in Parashat Vayeshev is that it is always right to take responsibility, and that placing blame on one person is almost never accurate or helpful. This leads me to my point, because while we all debate whose fault it is for the coldness among Joseph's family, I believe that they are all at fault for their own share in what is happening. I also believe it is the opposite of truly taking responsibility when the discussion revolves around blame. I believe it is a form of injustice to blame one person when the responsibility for a wrong action should be shared among many people. However, each situation is unique. Taking responsibility is so important in everything, little or big. When I think of taking responsibility for my actions, there are many things that come to mind. First is around sports. This involves many sports, but I'll use cheer as my example. On a cheer team, we all have stunt groups. The group usually consists of 4 people, 2 bases, a flyer, and a back spot. If a stunt goes wrong, we take a look at the stunt and try and see what went wrong. It is each person's responsibility to fix their mistake and do their job in order for the stunt to work. If we direct our energy towards blaming an individual of the member of the stunt group, it is not helpful. That person feels attacked and unworthy. It is always better for us to realize we work as a group together and we rise and fall together. We are responsible for our part, but we do not blame each other. I also take responsibility through my mitzvah project. It is very important for us all as a community to take responsibility to those who are less fortunate or perhaps disabled. My brother Garrett has autism and he gets excellent therapy at a center called Rays of Funshine. I have volunteered there for many months and years even before starting my mitzvah project, interacting with different children with autism, Asperger's, and Down syndrome, and more, assisting in play, therapy, art, and teen group. I am also raising scholarship money for a little boy named Hayden, whose family cannot afford all the therapy he needs. I have learned through my studies that it is my responsibility as a member of the community to assist others in need when I can. It is not important or helpful to cast blame on others, but to be responsible and fill a need when necessary. With becoming a bat mitzvah, I have grown closer to Judaism and become a better Jew and person. I learned how to take initiative and responsibility with my studies. Additionally, I have learned many new things and while expanding my prior knowledge. I know I will carry on this concept of responsibility and community service, even beyond my bat mitzvah training. I would like to conclude by thanking everyone who helped me get where I am today. Thank you, Cantor, for the many sessions and preparing me for this special day. I had so much fun learning from you. You have taught me so much, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Rabbi, for helping me interpret this Torah portion, write my speech, and for being the best rabbi ever. Thank you so much to my mom, dad, and Garrett. Garrett, I love you so much, and you are the best brother in the whole world. I have learned so many things from you, and I feel such joy whenever I'm around you. Daddy, you are such an amazing dad. I love you with all my heart, and I cherish every moment we spend together. All of the memories we have together are unforgettable, like Indian princesses, riding roller coasters, and so much more. Mommy, you are the epitome of a great mom, and I love you unconditionally always. You are always there for me and constantly giving me a helping hand. You mean the world to me. Lastly, thank you to all of my friends. You have all been there for me since the start, and I wouldn't be half the person I am today without you. To all my school friends, you are amazing and constantly making the school day better. To all my cheer friends, I enjoy the countless practices, competitions, and times outside of cheer that we spend together. I know I can always count on you if it's a tough practice or I'm having a bad day. Lastly, thank you to all my temple friends. You are also special to me, and I've known most of you since I was only 2. We have so many memories that I cherish, and I can't wait to build more over the years. Thank you to everyone in this room from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful to have such great family and friends.
When Mommy and I were preparing for your bat mitzvah, we were going through some of the photographs and records from the past 13 years. We came across a note written by Pam Solomon, who you'll remember as your preschool teacher here. She had written down, the most extraordinary Ava, what lucky parents you are that you can watch her life unfold. She's amazing. And Pam was so right. Nothing has given us more pleasure than watching you grow from an infant to the young lady that you are today. I've told you many times before about the pure joy I had the morning that you were born when we first realized that we were having a girl, that we had a girl. And every day that I've been your dad, you've proved to me how right I was to feel such excitement when I first saw you. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished by becoming a bat mitzvah. I don't mean just the beautiful result of the preparation that you put in. I'm talking about the behind-the-scenes effort, studying diligently, without procrastination, without even much stress, and taking such pride in how you wanted to lead this service. It's truly been an inspiration. My blessing for you and my prayer for your future is that you continue to enjoy and share with others all of your wonderful personal traits. Continue to prioritize having fun. Work hard at your career, but choose one that seems less like work and more like a true passion. Keep surrounding yourself with people who enrich your life. Like your grandma Roz, you draw great energy when you surround yourself with family and friends who love and care for you. Cultivate those relationships. Follow that instinct you have to help others who can benefit from your compassion. It's that same instinct you showed before you could even talk, when you treated Garrett like a protective big sister, even though he's almost 2 years older than you. Keep up your desire to learn, not just in a classroom where you've done so well, but also seeking out new experiences that will enrich your life. You love to travel, so work to make it a priority in life. Remain humble. You have great leadership qualities, but you've also shown that you're an outstanding team player. I've loved watching you devote yourself to cheer, and I've been so impressed by how well you handle both victory and defeat. Along with humility, know that you're going to face unexpected crises and traumas in your life. And when you do, never be afraid to ask for help. Remember that when you open yourself up to others and receiving help from them, the blessings that you'll get in return can make even the worst things in life seem much more manageable. And my final blessing for you, Ava, is that you keep yourself healthy and safe. You have such a good head on your shoulders, and you know what's important in life, to the extent anyone can at age 13. May you continue to make decisions every day that will be good for your body, for your mind, and for your beautiful soul. So those are my blessings for you today. Thank you so much for giving me the blessing of letting me be your father. Love you.
Congratulations, Ava. You did a beautiful job today. So proud of you. So now is my turn in this service to give you my blessing. But before I do that, I have to tell you first, Ava, what a blessing you are to me. 13 years ago, I was blessed with the most beautiful little baby girl. Now, at the time, I was already a mother, and I was so completely happy with Garrett. I had my little sweet boy, and now I had a little sweet girl, beautiful pink-cheeked baby, just to make things happier. And at the time, I have to tell you, I did not think that I could be any happier. But of course, I was wrong, because you came along and you blessed me so much. And as I watched you grow from a funny little lively, happy toddler into the young woman you are here today, I have continued to have nothing but blessings from you. I want you to know that you are a strong, capable, loving young woman, and you have so much to offer this world. You have blessed me, you've blessed your father and all of your family and friends, and you will continue to bless everyone who you meet in life, because you are so very, very special. And my blessing for you, and what I wish for you, Ava, is that you know that with all of your heart and all of your soul, and that you continue to share those blessings with your family, with your friends, and with everybody who comes into your life. One of the biggest blessings that you have also given me is how you have bonded with your brother over the years. How you are just the most wonderful sister to him. To watch the two of you together is just, it gives a mother nothing but pride and joy. And I know in my heart that you will always be there for your brother. That I never have to worry about either of you, because you always have each other. And that is a true, true blessing. So today, on your bat mitzvah, this day, when you stand before your family and friends, look out there, Ava, and you stand up here so confidently, so lively, so poised, and you've made us all so very proud. I hope that you feel the pride too. I hope you feel the pride in yourself, and I hope you always feel the same love that you feel today, the strength, the confidence. And at those times when maybe you feel a little less confident or your strength is a little weary, always know that your mother is here for you, that I love you with all my heart, and I will always, always be there for you. I love you.
Ava, you are going to have a day filled with so many blessings from not only your family, from your friends as well. And at this time, though, it's our honor to be able to share blessings from your community, because you become a bat mitzvah, not only with your family and friends, but here within your Temple Beth Shalom community. So I'm going to ask you to take a step down for a moment. And thank you, by the way, for inaugurating our new step. And thank you, Mr. Griffin, and your class, your school, for helping us have this again. So I'm going to call forward to present to you some gifts on behalf of the congregation, on behalf of our sisterhood, Lori Glaske, on behalf of our brotherhood, Steve Friedman, on behalf of our board of directors, Bill Contour, and on behalf of our youth group, I'm going to invite forward Julia Evans, Rachel Glazer, and Megan Solomon to come on up. No, you may get back up there, absolutely. And so I'm going to invite the ladies to go ahead and go first with their blessing to you.
Mazel tov, Ava. You're an amazing friend, and you did amazing today. Oh, this is a candle, a $5 candle.
Ava, I've known you since preschool, and you're really funny, and you make us laugh, and you're really nice, and I love you.
Ava, you're the bestest gummy bear. What? You're the bestest gummy bear girl out of all of us, and you did a really good job today, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Hi, Ava. On behalf of your TBS sisterhood, I want to cheer you for your fabulous, for doing a fabulous job on becoming a bat mitzvah. And we all look forward to watching you grow in your leadership and responsibilities in school, in life, and in your Jewish community. And we'd like to give you this Kaddish cup that you can celebrate Shabbat with your own family in the future.
Ava, on behalf of the TBS Brotherhood, congratulations, Mazel Tov, and to your family. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Here's a tzedakah box. We hope you continue your Jewish education so you can go to New York with Heidi to, what's the name of the restaurant? Sammy's Romanian Kitchen in New York on your confirmation class. Mazel Tov.
I've known you for a long time, Ava, so this is kind of nice for me. I remember when you were a little girl in preschool with Matthew, so it's a great honor to be here and to present we actually have a couple of gifts for you here today. Your prayer book, which you've been using, continue to use it in good health. You have all the holidays in there. And then we have several certificates. You have a scholarship for going to Israel, because in Israel, there's also a certificate in here from the rabbi and the cantor, and they've planted a tree in your honor, and you talked about responsibility. So there is a responsibility that goes with this certificate. Everybody has to water it, and when is your day? Thursday. So we present that to you as well, and Mazel Tov to your family, to Garrett and everybody, and you did a great job.
And we know Emily sends her love too as part of the whole Gummy Bear Girls, right? Yep, exactly. So throughout the day and the evening, we invite everyone to take moments with Ava and offer her blessings, because it's not only family, it's not only rabbis and cantors who get to bless, but we all do. So we invite you throughout the day to offer you special blessings. And if you don't have a chance today, that's okay. Any day is a good time to offer blessings. But at this time, it is our honor, Ava, to invite your parents to come up and to join Cantor and myself at the Ark as we get to bestow upon you the blessings of our people. We invite everyone to please rise. Come on up.
breathe.
You can breathe? I am so glad. That's a good thing. Yeah. And you know, you have brought us breath. You have brought us and you know this wonderful ruach, and you have filled our neshama, our souls. And we are so proud of you. As I told you before we came out here, it's an honor for us to have you lead us in Shabbat worship. It is an honor and a blessing for us to have you teach us words of Torah. It is an honor for us to watch you grow and to learn and to challenge and question. That is so, so good. And, you know, coming from your parents who definitely know how to turn things over and over and over. Look at things from all angles. Ava, hold on to that and do that. Never just accept anything on the surface. In this week's parasha, you taught us about the importance of responsibility. But also with responsibility comes also how one views themselves. One of the challenges that Joseph had and how people kind of interpreted him was about his ego. If you remember about those dreams that he had and his brothers and even his parents going, you know, hey, wait a second, excuse us. Are we supposed to accept the fact that we're supposed to bow low to you? Wait a second, that's a lot of ego. And that became a little bit of a challenge there. With responsibility, through everything that we do in our lives, be as successful as you can. Strive for every goal. Strive for every possible thing you want to do. Reach up high and, yes, even fly toward it. But also, keep in check the ego, because we know throughout life, we don't do things by ourselves. We are not successful alone. We are able to be successful and achieve all of our goals and our dreams because we surround ourselves with family who supports us and loves us, family who inspires us, friends who are there for us and supporting us. It's a lot like what you do, my friend. You can't fly by yourself. You need those bases. You need that back spot there. That's how a stunt is done. Everybody together. Egos in check. So, my friend, fly. Achieve every goal and every dream because we know you can. And we are so blessed to be a part of that with you. We are blessed to be part of your bases and your back spots, and they're lifting you up into the sky because we want you to fly. And we also want to offer you blessings. Blessings that have been passed on from generation to generation to generation and to you. And you, my friend, will pass these words of blessing on to the next generation someday. Words of Torah.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine on you, in you, and through you. And may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ava, may you always feel God's presence around you there, supporting you and inspiring you. May God give you a life that is filled with happiness, a life that is filled with fulfilling your goals and dreams, a life that is filled with shalom, with peace. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov. Thank you. We remain standing as we turn in our prayer books now for Aleinu L'Shabeach, our closing prayers on page, see right here, 586. I got one right here for you. 586, Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We remain standing now as our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, yet truly their memories are always with us. On this Shabbat, we recall those who have recently departed from our congregational community: Jackie Bluestein, Robert Mandel, Harold Horwitz, and Howard Eisenman. We also recall those whose yard sites fall on this Shabbat and during this coming week: Tilly Bleckman, Ismar Bornstein, Vivian Brewington, Gertrude Cohen, Kim Ellis, Bertha Esco, Harold Goldsman, Jean Kerbo, Nat Lamb, Sylvia Light, Anna Mirko, Caleb Saul, H. David Seville, Bertel Schoenberg, Harry Schupak, Francis Schwartz, Evelyn Schweitz-Weinert, Audrey Singerman, Beatrice Stern, and Arnold S. Weinthal. If there's anyone here who's in the period of mourning of Shiva, Shloshim, or Shana, or is observing a yard site of a loved one whose name I have not called, I invite you to please share their names with us. For all of them and for all those who have given their lives al Kiddush Hashem, for the sanctification of God's holy name, we join together as one congregation on page 598, Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadal v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shemei d'kudishah b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlam Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, amen. I think Garrett would like to come up as well and get to share blessings with Ava. Share this step with you. Hey, here, let's have him come on this side. Hey, Garrett. Step up here. Want to come up? Perfect.
Congratulations, Ava. You did a great job today, and I'm so proud of you. You are the best sister in the whole world, and I love you so much. Thank you for always being true for me. You play with me, you help me when I need you. You are patient and kind of to me. You teach me so much. I am so blessed to be your brother. I love you.
Oh, thank you, Garrett.
Garrett.
Good job,
Thank
Garrett.
you, Garrett.
Good job.
So, you want to come down? You can. And Ava, why don't you go right here next to your parents? And we are going to, in just a moment, join together with our closing song. And then you guys can say right there, totally, and put your arms around each other, because it's the end of the service. And after the service, we're going to join together in the living room to your left, my right, through the doors there in the back. We're going to join together with a kiddush and a motzi in honor of Ava becoming a bat mitzvah. We'll invite you to take a little cup of grape juice. If there's some cut pieces of challah, you can take a piece of it. Don't drink, don't eat yet, because we need to come out and do the blessings. So gather around the table. Will be there to your right when you go out. And now for our closing song, we want to invite you to put the prayer books down, put your arms around somebody next to you. If you don't know who they are, say hello. Introduce yourself. Steve, go back. Nobody stands alone. There you go. Absolutely. You can't turn here.
Say shalom bimramav, hu say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. 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 Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael.
Bruchim atem b'vorachem, bruchim atem b'tzeitachem, mi'ata v'ad olam. Blessed are you, and you're coming into this place of worship. And blessed may you be as you go forward to a Shabbat of health, of happiness, and of peace. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.